How's everybody doing? Y'all good? It's a lot of people, oh my gosh. Okay. A dandelion in the midst of rose bushes would stick out like a sore thumb to ignorant souls. But I know the rose's dandelion endures. This weed that all gardeners want to destroy is more appreciated by God than any seemingly beautiful bush of roses. Though that mutely misunderstood mellow yellow dandelion won't for long last, let it be known that God gave her the role of the outcast for divine importance. My mother was a dandelion in the midst of roses. Ignorant of her purpose, she uprooted her soul and unknowingly left herself for dead. It has been said that my mother, when above the influence, transmuted broken hearts into smiles, all the while dying on the inside. AIDS didn't kill my mother, it put her at rest. Now this songbird whistles in the key of silence, and I, the latter of five, write poems documenting the struggle unknown to my family. The sickness she denied lies in my blood with a lesser value. People speak. I don't know how you can live with knowing nothing but owning the growing dis-ease that your mother for so long fought. Just the thought alone would destroy me, but see, that's the difference between a rose and a dandelion. Roses were created with thorns to warn hands approaching without caution. Dandelions weren't given that option, but they were created by an all-knowing God. And that all-knowing God created dandelions with the strength to withstand ignorance and hatred. Dandelions live in this matrix of life, understanding the price. Roses live like the world was handed. Dandelions have to take the world and won't leave a rose stranded, but my mother died before she got the chance to realize that dandelions are blessings in disguise. She, I dare say, died before her time. That thought lingers in my mind, conflicting with my belief in the divine. My mom raised me in the faith that the day God sweeps you away is a day proclaimed way before the manifestation. But I can't help but experience devastation, knowing nothing about the woman who carried me, toting guns in the defense of my father. And it's even harder knowing nothing about her, but knowing the reason the hospital has become my second home is because this dandelion chose to roam with the buffalo. But I seek serenity in the fact that she just didn't know that she, a dandelion, was just as beautiful as a rose. And I will go forth, knowing my purpose as a dandelion. This life is worth all the crying and all the dying I have to do just so someone in my shoes can live. I will gladly give myself as a sacrifice if it means that dandelions in the world will become viewed as more than the consequences of sins behind closed doors. You can lay me on my back and present me lifeless to God if it means that dandelions with unseen scars will not be viewed as odd, but as gifts from God to show the world that beauty lies not in the petals of flowers, but in the power of unconditional love, and that the strength of the untouched, unhugged, sometimes unloved, but most important of all, unbudged dandelions. Thank you. Thank you. So that was a poem about my biological mother. In 1992, I lost my biological mother to AIDS. As a result of her alternative lifestyle, I was born HIV positive. So my life is dedicated to this cause. I am standing in the gap for so many young women who do not have a voice. And so I'm just excited to be here. Thank you all. And I'm going to do one more poem for you, and then I'm going to get out your way. HIV looks like a child, birthed through a bloody, disease-ridden canal into a world that would make dying seem worth your while. It looks like a child, born with an enlarged spleen, packaged with the inability to do things like join America's great army, or be all that she could be, or simply live a life of normality because the cool kids think HIV is ugly, and she looks just like it, swollen lymph nodes and all because her mother made one false move, one high that came down too soon. Her mother was doomed to a life full of death, and so was she. It was predicted that she would breathe her last breath before 5, and here she stands, 5'9", flashing a smile that blind eyes trying to see her pain. Her breath carries hints of disdain, but she mustn't remain silent, no matter how bad it seems. She can't allow people to go on and think that HIV only looks like skinny bodies, pale skin, open sores, and baby thin hair. She can't help but start a movement that does December 1st, no matter how much it hurts. She was cursed with this enigma, so she sets out to slay this fire-breathing stigma of HIV and pray that the world will no longer be bullied, but become fully aware that they're just jealous of the Magic and Irving's HIV money, and it's HIV AMCs, and it's HIV grande lattes, and whatever other HIV things he has. You see, HIV looks like a healthy man with sick paper who didn't ask for the haters. Looks like little girls in South Africa that didn't ask for the rapists. HIV looks like NWA watching Eazy-E leave 10 days after going to the doctor for what he believed to be asthma HIV. Looks like a boy receiving the wrong blood transfusion at 13 who would one day bring awareness to this thing, what's called the gay man's disease, and lose his life at 18. Ryan White lived 5 years longer than expected because God wanted to show the world what HIV looks like, and it darn sure don't look like BET's name excuse for promoting awareness with 30-second commercials and interludes and videos of men telling our young women to have a baby by them after they blamed it on the alcohol, wasted. These young women become consumed in their mother's basement, trapped between walls of ignorance, lying in their innocence bare naked as HIV stares them in the eyes. They don't know that they too will soon know what HIV looks like, and it looks like cocktails that don't get served during happy hour, but get served in the form of a capsule or pill to kill this disease that seeks to devour our young and leave them orphanized in the streets of Washington, D.C., and add insult to injury by telling them that dandelions don't belong in the midst of roses, takes peace and teases them by dangling it underneath of their noses. But what HIV doesn't know is, I've known what it looks like for years. I've cried its abandoned tears, and I've lived with the fear of dying. Been found flying without wings, and been found lying in cold prayers on floor 3 of Children's National Medical Center, realizing that I don't own the luxury of only having colds in the winter. For opportunistic diseases left me asking Jesus, when was summer going to begin? When was I going to be able to ride my bike, arms stretched wide, caressing the wind with the same hands used by God to compose symphonies in the key of brokenness? I know what HIV looks like. Every morning, I stare it in the eyes, realizing that even though my biological mother's memory cannot be found in my mind, I'm the only one of my siblings that carry her bloodline. I'm the only one of my siblings blessed with a life full of positivity. I know what HIV looks like, and I will continue to live my life exposing the ever-changing face of HIV and pray that the world will no longer be bullied, but become fully aware that if it only takes 32 people to die for a nation to become hopeless, then surely the death of over 25 million people will bring the world to become a sea of red ribbons, so HIV will no longer look like anything but extinct. Don't misunderstand me. Knowing what HIV looks like comes with the price of my life nailed to a ruthless disease, but I'd rather die telling people what HIV looks like than to live with knowing that I haven't said a word. Thank you so much.